Hi folks. I'm very new to Camtasia, just to say this at the beginning. And I came across a problem with my green screen. So I'm a user from ScreenFlow for years, and I did all my tutorials and all my stuff with ScreenFlow for Mac. And now I decided just to switch to Camtasia because there are several things I would say are a little bit smarter than in ScreenFlow and will make my work a little bit easier to produce this content. So I gave it a try in the 2021 version, and it was pretty amazing from the point of workflow and from the tools. Really neat software, but the green screen is horrible, as you can see. I did a small video, which you can see here, and it's me in front of my green screen, as you can see. I'm just wiggling around a little bit. So let's take this shot. And in Camtasia, as far as I could figure out, green screening is done with this remove color. Sorry for the German interface. I didn't know how to change to an English one, but let's give it a try. I'll add this effect, which is a visual effect, and just grab the green color of my green screen. Let's take this one, for instance, or this one. Doesn't matter which one. And as you can see, the green screen is pretty ugly over here. So okay, first what we could do is add a bit more tolerance. And if I add a bit more tolerance, and you can see it here in the bottom corner of the image, and when I'm scrubbing through, there are these colors that are also removed. As well, the green screen on my hands is pretty ugly. So to give you a bit better understanding of that, I'll add a color behind this short footage. Let's put it over here and remove the text. Just move it out. Zoom a bit out, and like so. Oops. Just moved it a little bit to the side. So, okay. So we can see what's happening a little bit better. And perhaps we should also change the color of that, so it will be a little bit more visible what's happening. Let's take this magenta, for instance. Okay, like so. We can change this at any time. So now let's try it again. This is, you can see it over here as well as on the hands. So I asked myself how to produce a better green screen. Sometimes it's getting even worse than this. So if I take, for instance, another color, let's remove this green screen again and add a new one. Like so. And let's say I took a color more in this range. Like so. And now I'm adding the tolerance again to remove all the stuff. You see, I have a pretty small amount of tolerance over here, and it's getting worse in these areas. So that's not really a good sophisticated green screen in my eyes. So I asked myself how to improve. So okay, improving in green screen just means improving your lighting, because all these artifacts you can see are produced by an uneven lighting. Let's go over here and let's remove the green screen again. So you can see it out there, and let's fit this. So you can see it here are lighter parts. This is a little bit lighter from the hair light over here. It's a little bit more light in the green, and here it's a bit darker. Also here it's a bit darker. So I figured out that I cannot change my lighting at all because the room is very narrow and the green screen is very extended. It's wide, about 3.5 meters, and the light is just fixed like that. So first thing I did was improving the lighting of myself, which made a little bit a difference, but not for the green, because it's just lighting me. Second idea was how to change the green color. So I tried with different fabrics, and but it didn't went out in a good way. So third idea was how to improve it with software. And as some of you might know, I'm a Photoshop professional, and I'm teaching Photoshop for years. I'm using Photoshop as artist, and so I gave it a try. I just shot a small piece of video, so you don't need Photoshop at all. I just wanted to show you how it's working. So I just shot a small amount of video, and this video is like so, and you can see it here as well. Let's give it a try by just adding adding a curves layer, and just look what's happening now. So you can see the uneven lit green screen very well. Lights over here, darks over here, some spots inside. Even it's a completely green fabric that has no spots on it. It's just because of the lighting and because of the camera I'm using. Even it's a 4K camera, it's compressing the image inside Camtasia, and this is no chance to get rid of it. So I purchased a piece of software years ago. I didn't use it very often because my idea was years ago, when I was producing some videos, just to do my own LUTs. So LUTs are lookup tables. Lookup tables in short means you are just taking a color space, think of a cube, and you could put all your colors inside this cube, and you can move them around in 3D space and exchange them by that way. This is basically a LUT. So I came across years ago at a software called 3D LUT Creator. I thought I would buy it because these LUTs are sometimes they are pretty expensive. From my point of view, I thought I could do them by my own. I purchased this software years ago, and I didn't use it very much. But now my idea came with when I saw a video that told me that Camtasia is able to use LUTs. So I thought I might take all the greens in my green screen and just mix them a little bit in the 3D LUT space to move them around and to get a better green screen. And this I want to show you how it works. So here is the 3D LUT Creator, and you can see I already imported an image. You can import any PNG, JPEG file or things like that. For me, in my situation, it was perfect as it can import, like you can see here, Photoshop files. So I just can say, okay, import from Photoshop, and bam, there it is. So if I want to get another image from Photoshop, let's give it a try. It has a direct relation. Let's take this image, for instance, go back to LUT Creator and say image from Photoshop, and you see, bam, there it is. If you don't have Photoshop at all, it doesn't matter at all, because you can also import PNGs and JPEG files. So let's go back to the first image. Like so, you see me humbling around. So let's take, for instance, this one. Okay, go back to LUT Creator and import from Photoshop. So here it is. You can see there is a before and after view, before and after, and you can uncheck this compare over here, so you can see the main image in the after state, in the changed state. So I'm not an expert with 3D LUT Creator, but just want to show you the steps you have to do to just generate your own LUT for your lighting situation. And just to remind you again, having a LUT means you have to have some sort of a stationary lighting. I have this here. I don't move my lights around every time. Even so, you could do this, but you have to have these LUTs updated every time you move your lights around. So I have stationary light, which means I can just produce one LUT, and that will fulfill my needs within a very wide range of clothing and movings in front of my green screen. So as you can see, here are the main tools you have to work with. So there are lots of tools. These are only a small amount of things you can do with it. And I'm using this grid here, AB, because this AB grid shows me where the greens and where the skin tones and the blues are within my photo. So you can see here is a pretty light spot, which means these are the greens within the image. Here in this area, you can see the skin tones, and in this area, you can see there are my my shirt colors now at the moment. So this would mean I can just pick a color, say for instance this color, and move it around, and you can see it within the screen. The color is just exchanged. But that's not my problem. My problem is the lighting, not the color itself. So I reset this and change to another tool, which is here. And as you can see here, I have another perspective on the colors within this image. You can see I have the green tones over here. I have the magenta tones over here, yellow tones over here, and blue tones over here. And these light spots, they show me where are the amount of color or of lighting within the image. So as I want to change my greens, you can see they are basically located over here. I can go with a moving tool over here and check a color, say this one. And if I move this color over here, you can see in the left, the point is moving. That relates to that color. So it might be an easy task to just move them all around. And as you can see, if I'm going over here, another point is moved. And if I'm going here, another point is moved. And so my greens are going in a lighter direction. So I just move all my greens into a lighter position. So let's do it a little bit more by purpose. And I'm doing it not in these 8 by 8 grid. So I can change this grid a little bit. If I change this grid, I get a little bit more control over the situation. Let's take a 16 grid. So next, I will pin all points on my chart here. Pinning means they don't move at all. And now I know, okay, it's going on these tonal ranges. I want to lit up my darker greens. So let's take these two, for instance, and move them to the lightest position. Like so. And let's take these twos and move them as well into this direction. And let's take the other darker greens and move them as well into this direction. And now you can follow along within the screen as it gets lighter and lighter. Let's have a look. Take these two and move them up. And now I have mainly an even lit screen color. So this is pretty cool stuff now. You see, the reds did not change at all within my face, just the greens were moved around and I get an even lit green. So if I want to change the green, make it completely darker or completely lighter, I can change it by just moving all these points around. So now to get just a bit more control, I will move them into this direction, and the left ones, I'll move them on top of them. So now I have a really even green tonal range. So let's try what this means to our Camtasia project. I can save this this 3D LUT file here at that button over there. Just go to my folder. Let's have a look. Where did I have to store them? Over here. And let's call them 08. 08, like those. So I already did some research on that, as you can see. Save it. And now it saved a 3D LUT file. Perhaps you didn't get that. Camtasia is not able to work with these 3D LUT files, as I could figure out, but I can change it to cube. And let's go back to the folder, to the cube file format. And this cube file format is accepted by Camtasia. Let's save it again. So now let's go back to Camtasia. And as you can see, I'm still there. And so is my magenta. Okay, now you have to go just to visual effects, and there is a color lookup table. And I put this visual effect now on my file, and you can see it just gave it a bit more of a contrast, because the basic setting here is enhanced contrast by default. This is not what I need. I need my 3D LUT that I just created. So I'm just importing this. You remember we called it 08. I'm opening this. And now you can see my 3D LUT just made an even green background. And I can move around. The green just does not, or is not affected at all. This is pretty amazing, as I think. Now let's give it a try with the transparency, the main green. Just pick the green, like so, and we have a perfect green screen, as you can see. I have not to wiggle around with the tolerance or things like that. Just can minimize the contour a little bit. As you can see, that's nearly perfect. So that's it for today. As you can see, a pretty amazing, easy version of green screen optimization. You don't have to spend much money on that. You just can do it by software. And if you wonder, this green screen of me doing this screencast is also improved by adding this method. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Consider following my channel. I'm posting stuff around art, around photoshopping, around creativity techniques all the time. So it would be nice if you could spread the word. Thank you, and till the next time. Bye bye.